Worse and worse. Okay, I was probably the only kid in 7th grade taking Valiums to slow my heart down, but I was a hell of a track star. Okay, I could move pretty quick. Uh, Toward the end, you know, probably a year and a half ago or so, my heart started getting worse and worse, and I didn't want to say, yeah, I'm dying. I had this all my life, but I wasn't ready to give up and say, you might be on your last leg. So, and I probably weigh, right now I weigh 169, 170. Back then I weighed probably 200, 205. My heart wasn't pumping the liquid out of my liver and kidneys and heart. It wasn't happening. But what I learned how to do was, if I worked harder, I could sweat it out. The doctors wouldn't tell me that, your heart's not pumping good enough to keep you alive. It got down close to the end, and I love to work. As Roxy will tell you, the Ballards have worked all their life. We like to sweat. We like to work. If I couldn't work, I'd die. I built a garage apartment, and I was so weak that I had to scoot on my butt on a piece of cardboard and use my nail gun to nail. I mean, I wasn't going to give up. And it finally got so bad that I couldn't brush my teeth. I do like this, my arm would fall. And I'd say a few choice words that I shouldn't be saying. And I'd do it again. I'd hold my hand up and fall down. Well, the wife would pull up with the groceries outside in her Tahoe. I couldn't walk up there and get a bag of groceries and come to the house. And all these doctors in Woodlands, they were all medicine doctors. In other words, they're going to give you pills until you die. Mm-hmm. They're going to give you pills till your arm's like this. Mm-hmm. Well, I had a good buddy, Don Spence. He said, Rodney, you need to go see my doctor, Delgado. He said, he can probably help you maybe. I was like, look, guy, it's over. My grandpa died of this. My uncles died of this. My aunt's got it. My mother died. My son's got it. It's genetic. And I said, I said, no, let's just forget it. Let's let it run its course, and I'll die. Well, I was at home one day, and I was weak. My wife come in, and I was in bed, and she come in and said, how you feeling? I said, well, I'm ready to move on. I said, do me a favor. She said, what? I said, cut the air conditioner down to about 65, shut the windows, shut the door, come back in 2 days. I'll be in heaven. I said, I'm ready to go. She started crying. Then I started crying. She said, no, we're going to go see our buddy. Our buddy has a friend. His name is Mr. Delgado. I couldn't think of his name. And so I said, whatever. You're wasting your time. My whole family's had this. They all died. So we went down there. He had all my records. And I'm telling you this in case one of y'all have a heart problem, know somebody has a heart problem, heart, liver, kidney, needs an organ. They do it every day. But, well, they do it every day except for hearts. So we go there and see the man, and of course he grabs his chair. When the doctor does this, you're in trouble. He scoots up to me real tight, puts his hand on your knee and says, did you know that you're in perfect shape besides your heart? I said, yeah, hell yes. I work like a dog. I just can't have no air. I need some oxygen. He said, you have 4 options. I said, options? Nuts? I'm dying. He said, no, you got, here at St. Luke's. Now, I've got something fixing to read y'all after I talk about this. He said, here at St. Luke's, you've always got options. Number 1, you've got stem cell. He said, we're about a year and a half out on stem cell. He said, stem cell is doing good in other joints and knees and stuff. He said, he's about a year and a half out on stem cell. He said, we have 2 mechanical hearts. And he said, you ever seen one? I said, no. He said, well, I'm going to have a doctor come here in a minute and show you one. And he said, the other thing we have is a transplant. And I'm ready to go. I mean, I've been through enough. So I said, okay. So he sends a nurse in there. She walks in there with this, it looked like to me it looked like a $20 Granger part, you know, it's made out of titanium. And I looked at it, I'm an old pipe fitter by trade in my old days. I said, that's just a darned old centrifugal pump. I said, he looked at it, yeah. I said, water in, water out. I said, that's the best y'all come up with in 100 years. And he said, yeah. He said, Dick Cheney had one the last 3 years. He said, they last forever. And I said, how's it go in there? He said, it attaches to the bottom of your heart. And the damn thing weighed probably 2 pounds. So I can imagine that pulling on your heart. I'd have to walk around like this probably. And I said, oh my God, y'all are so far back. You know, I said, hell, I could have built one by now, you know. And so anyway, I got through there, and then we go back to the doctor, and he said, what do you think, Mr. Delgado? And I said, I don't know. I said, you tell me what you think. He said, well, to be honest with you, he said, as good a shape you're in, I'd go for the transplant. I said, okay. He said, you can still go swimming. You can take your grandkids in a pond, jump in. You can do whatever you want. You won't have to carry around batteries, you know, with the 2 mechanical hearts. And he said, the only thing is, if something goes wrong in the operating room when we're doing a transplant, you know, there's no backup. That's it. I said, whatever. I'm 2.5 minutes from heaven anyway. I didn't care. And he said, I said, if you was me, what'd you do? He said, transplant, go for it. I said, okay, let's do it. I said, I asked the doctor, when do you want to start? He said, I'm checking you in right now. So I spent 2.5 weeks in St. Luke's being checked out. In the meantime, y'all might have heard that Medicare withdrew from St. Luke's. They had 3 people die on the operating room. One of the surgeons that did the one operation, he tied the wrong artery to the inlet and outlet. The guy's heart exploded before the operation. The second one, when they were stitching up a guy's heart, the doctor made he went too far and caught a main artery and stuck a hole in it. And they sewed the guy up, and he lasted about a week and he died. Well, after all the tests were done, and St. Luke's lost their Medicare, that meant they just $2.5 million to have this done, by the way, and insurance paid for every bit of it.
And
$1,000 a month is my prescription. But anyway, St. Luke's lost their Medicare. Right, I guess on a Friday, we were waiting to see. They said that I had a problem with the liver, so I might not get a transplant. And so they said that they had to run some extra tests. And Monday they didn't know. So they come in there Monday and said, there's 10 doctors. I'm laying in bed and there's 10 doctors right here. And they all standing around the bed, and she's telling me, look, you know, you do have scarring on the liver. And that's probably due to the heart and the low blood flow. And he said, but and this lady pulled out a calculator and she goes doing this. This really makes me mad to see the doctor do this and everything. She said, okay, at your age and the condition of your liver, you'll only live to be 97. I went, okay, so she said, you passed. She said, get the transplant. Wow. We were on cloud 9. This is St. Luke's, okay? We come back Monday. They have the board meeting Tuesday. We come back Monday, and that's when they come out, pop surprise, said, hey, your liver's too bad for a transplant. And here it is right here. It says, your case was reviewed and I love to read this because I hate these people right here. I hate them. In fact, I'm going to put it on Facebook. Your case was reviewed at the Heart Transplant Medical Review Board on 8/14/2018. After careful review of your record, the board determined that you are unacceptable candidate for transplant due to increased surgical risk secondary to liver disease. Okay, it is with my deepest regret that we cannot offer you a heart transplant as a treatment option at this time. This is my death warrant, guys. This is it.
Yeah.
Okay? Wow. My doctor, Dr. Delgado, he knew what was going on. And now, back up, man. Before that happened, since they had 3 people die on the operating table, they were going to lose their license. That means no more. St. Luke is world renowned for heart transplants. They lost their license, fixing to lose it. And they said what they was going to do, they was going to give 12 people a free heart. And my doctor told me, he said, I'm supposed to even tell you this. He said, you're one of them. So we was happy, right? We was happy. Tuesday, this comes in. They decided to do a different PR than 12 free transplants. They decided to take the money and advertise. So my doctor was an angel. He worked for St. Luke's, but he was an angel.
Amen.
We went back and the wife started crying. She started bawling. I said, Brenda, it's all right. We're all going to die. It's just my time, baby. I said, don't worry about it. I'm going to be all right. Y'all are going to be good. You know, the boys will be fine. You'll be fine. And she told Delgado, she said, you promised us that you was going to take care of him. And he kind of teared up. He said, I am. I still am. He said, I've got the head surgeon for Methodist going to be over here in about an hour. He said, he's going to come look at you. And if they had to put an eye on you to make sure you didn't stay with that medicine doctor for too long in your skin and bones. Well, I was still pretty good, you know. So sure enough, the head surgeon for Methodist come over there, stood at the end of my bed, and I grabbed the bar and picked up. People don't supposed to do this when you need a heart transplant because your skin and bones. I pulled it up and he stuck his hand. I squeezed the hell out of it. I squeezed him. Yeah, I'm here. And he looked at me, and he was Indian. He's just about that color right here. He was dark red. And he said, here's the way God opens doors. He said, Mr. Ballard, we'll have an ambulance over here in 30 minutes to pick you up. You're going to Methodist. God opened the door. I knew nobody in the hospital. There's a waiting line outside for me to get in, okay? Or for people to get in. I went from not knowing anybody to going straight to the top 26th floor in Methodist and for a transplant. Now again, the doctor Methodist, Bobby Raj, he said, we're going to have to retest you again on everything. So go for it. I mean, what I got to lose? I said, go for it. So he did it. He come back and said, there's nothing wrong with your liver. He said, besides that, if you need a liver, we'd give you heart and liver. He said, it's best to put two organs in than one. I said, what? He said, we love to do two, or like a lung and a kidney, or a heart and a liver. He said, because your immune system doesn't know which one to kill. It screws them up. Right now, I just got a heart. They say, hey, let's all go kill the heart, you know. If I had two of them, I said, take a kidney, you know. Is there some, well, you're too old for us to take a kidney. I'm going to some, you know, whatever. But anyway, now this all took place after I had a visit. And this is tough. I was, and I'm gonna skip around. I just want to show you how God opened the door to get me in that hospital, because it's. And I told somebody a while ago, out of Houston, Texas, 3.5 million people. How many people got a transplant last year? 48. I was one of them.
Amen.
That donor died from me. That's hard. You know, when I first went in there, the doctors all surrounded me, you know. And they said, we're going to offer you a psychiatrist in case you have mental problems with dealing with this. I'm a Ballard, dude. I ain't got no mental problems. I said, you cut my arm off. I said, you cut my arm off, and I ain't going to say anything. I don't know if y'all can see this, but you see that machine right here? That's my heart.
Keeping you alive.
3.5 months with a 6-foot extension cord. The operation was nothing. Laying in bed that long was hell.
Yeah.
People, I know y'all know what code blue is, right?
Yeah.
I'm laying in bed. And all night long, code blue, room 316, code blue. They was down on this side, down on that side, over there. One guy coded 8 times before they let him go. I said, the whole time in the hospital, the whole time I was there, I said, Lord, forget about me. That guy over there, code blue 8 times, do something for him. You know, take my heart. I can wait, you know. I mean, I've got this machine, and I told the doctor, I asked the doctor, I said, am I going to live long enough to get a heart with this machine? He said, well, if it don't, Mr. Ballard, we got a bigger one. We got one that put a little more out. He said, no, we got 3 different sizes. The third one's a little tough on people. It blows veins out. He said, but the first one, I think you'll make it fine. Most people were in there. There were people in there a year, 1 year waiting on a transplant. Heart, lungs, and kidneys all night long. They do them all night long, and they're good at it. And some of the best people in the world. Somebody asked me, you know, who's your doctor? And I said, God, that's, you know. I said, here's my doctor.
Wow.
That's all. I know every one of them. They're on call. I can call them now and tell them I got a cold and be able to pull up and get me. That's their reputation as heart transplants. They take care of them.
Wow.
And but doors open like, I mean, and I'd lay there in bed and cry. Why me, Lord? Why me? Why not this guy that died last night? Why me? I never got an answer, of course, but I was prepared. God prepared me for every bit of that.
Amen.
Every bit of that, God come to me. And you hear this stuff about, well, you'll never see God in the Bible. Jesus, they say, well, you talking to Jesus? No, I was talking to God. Trust me, when you're looking at the man in the eyes, he comes in all different shapes.
Yes,
all different shapes.
Yes, he does.
Well, let me tell you, I was laying there at the Anderson farm. I think you went there. And I've got to play this out for you a little bit. It's I've got it written down because I'm pretty nervous. I was laying in bed. The wife's laying here. I'm laying here. Okay, we got a big bay window in the master bedroom, and when the sun come up, you could see the light lift over the woods in the back. It's beautiful hunting up there too. Nice deer. Anyway, I'm laying in bed. The wife's laying in bed. It's still dark outside. I'm hurting. I am friggin' swole. I look like I'm about 7 months pregnant. And I couldn't lay down. I'd have to try to sit down because I was so slow. My liver's backed up, the water's backing up, strangling my heart, and I didn't know what the hell was wrong. Doctors wouldn't tell me that, hey man, your heart's backing up and you're dying. So this was 2 months before I went to St. Luke's and Methodist. Okay, I'm laying in bed, hurting. I look to my left, and I see myself. I'm a wuss. I see myself, and I've got the covers covered up. I got the sheets all the way to my nose, and I didn't want to wake Brenda up. I couldn't sleep. I'm hurting. There's a lot of sleepless nights before close to the end, and I said, "Man, Lord, if I could just lay here another hour, the sun come up, she'd be ready to get up maybe, and I wouldn't bother her again, and blah blah blah." So, like I said, I look to my left. I see myself laying in bed over there. And I look, and I said, what? I look back at the end of my bed. God is sitting on the edge of my bed. And he's looking down. He's looking down at the ground. And he looks like he's playing in the dirt. He's doing this. Now, he's sitting right here, and I'm watching him just like I'm watching you. He's sitting there with his right hand. He's looking down. And he's in dirt. I look at him, and he's still looking at dirt, and I said, I've been hurting pretty good the last couple of weeks. He never looked up. He kept playing in the sand, I guess. And directly looks up and he smiles at me. Biggest smile I've seen in your life. He smiles. And then he looks back down. He goes to doodling. I'm watching him. He's doing this. I'm watching him. I'm looking at him, looking down, and I said, that's the stupidest question any man could ever ask.
Oh, Lord.
I said, what do you do all day? I And I swear to God, Brenda said, "Is that the only thing you can think of?" He looks up at me and he smiles again, a little bigger smile. And he said, "I do a lot." What he was talking about. And then he looked back down. He started twiddling again. And then he looks back up and he says, "I love my fruit."
I love my what?
Fruit. I love all my fruit. I love all the different colors. I love all the different colors of fruit. And here's what it gets you. I love the red. I love the blue. I love the yellow. And I love the orange. And all the different shades of the orange. I'm thinking, what in the is he talking about? He looks back down. He goes doodling again. And then he stops. He looks back up. He said, "Even the black." And when he said black, he looked at me right in the eyes. I went to crying, bawling, black as death. He told me right there, boom, right in my brain. When you look into God's eyes, look at me shaking. When you look into God's eyes, it's like a tunnel. It looks like a tunnel, and it's the brightest white light that you'll ever see in your life. And you can tell when you look in it, it's from right now to the start of time.
Amen.
He knew what I was going to say before I said it.
Yes.
And when he looked up and said, "Even the black," he said, "like a thunderstorm at night, it comes." And he looked at me and stared, and he said, "It has to be." And I was bawling. Because he told me right then I was dying. And then he looked again, he said, and he put a little, "It has to be." I said, okay. I just, after he said that, he looked back down and went to doodling again, and I'm bawling. He said, got it right here. He said, "You know," and he looked at me, "you know that I painted all the different heavens the color of fruit." I went, I said, maybe he's telling me I need to open my Bible a little more.
You didn't know that.
I did not know that. In fact, I've called Carrie, and I've talked to 4 or 5 preachers, and in fact, I told one preacher the story, and he started crying, and he pulled this off, said, "Here, I'm going to give you this." I never wore a necklace in my life, but he said real plainly, he said, "You know, I colored all the heavens the color of fruit." And he said, and what he stuck in my head was heavens. Is there more than one heaven?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know it. The colors?
More than.
Does anybody know what the colors are? Well, I just learned it thanks to you. And I've talked to a lot of preachers. I'm laying there, and after he says that, he starts to kind of drift away a little bit. And I said, "Wait, don't go. Please, don't go. Don't go, please. Take me with you." I said, "My wife will be fine. My kids will be fine. My grandkids are fine. I'm ready to go. Please don't leave me. Please." And he left me. And that was 2.5 months. Well, that next morning, the wife, about an hour later, I wake the wife up. Well, she wakes up, and I'm bawling. She says, "What's wrong?" And I tell her, "I just talked to God." She says, "What?" And I told her what we talked about, and she says, "Unbelievable." I said, I cried. I probably cried. I stayed 3 or 4 days. I just cried. I would walk out in the yard and just break down and start crying. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And the next morning, I called everybody I knew. And I told them the story. I didn't care if they thought I was crazy, as loony as whatever. I didn't care. I said, I talked to God last night. We'll talk. He said, what does it mean? I said, well, fruit's people. You know, I take fruit as people. What's the colors? I have no idea. Well, let me tell you, I had took my Bible and I have tore into it. And most of it's, you can't always find. You can find the different verses in there that pertains to the colors. You know what I'm saying? But what I've got out of it so far, and I'm still digging. In fact, I talked to a couple of people today. Heaven is God, Jesus to his right, and the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. There's 7 spirits, angels, that sit in front of them. Mm-hmm. They roam the earth looking for people to help.
Amen.
And I think one of them stumbled up on top of me. But I've got a couple more little things I want to show you. This man, that man in the middle, he's my surgeon. He saved my life. And that guy, that's what's his name? God, just went too many meds. Guha. The guy on the left's Guha. What they do is they go through your neck and they put a tube down all the way to your heart and they measure the pressure on both sides. I had to do that every week. After the 3rd week they did it. They did it every 2 weeks. Then after 3 or 4 weeks of that, then they do it once a month. And after 3 or 4 months of that, then they stop doing it. But here's me going into operating. Here's me right here. You see me giving the surgeon thumbs up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest phone call a man could ever receive. I'm laying in bed after 3.5 months of hospital, 2.5 months laying in the bed with a 6-foot cord. I had damn bed sore. I didn't know what a bed sore. I'd never been in bed that long in my life. I had bed sore that big around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that morning, the doctor comes in and says, Mr. Ballard, we had you a donor this morning, but we wasn't going to tell you, but but the heart failed. It didn't pass our specs, and so we're still looking. Well, hey, at least they're looking. I'm gonna back up just a minute. Probably a couple weeks before that, we're depressed. I mean, if the reason hospitals don't have windows that can open because people jump out of them.
Yeah.
I've got that figure. I said, man, if that thing just would raise up, I'm on the 26th floor. I could fly. And anyway, about 7 or 8 o'clock that night, my phone rings, and that damn phone is back here. Now, y'all seen? Yeah.
And her lifeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all seen? I'm hooked up to this. That's my heart. That's my heart. And I slept with this. I had to sleep on my back. Okay. I had 2 half-inch rubber hoses here. I had 2 more over here, and then I had my electric wires that went all the way down to my heart here. So I slept like this. I mean, the first time I got those out, I could do this. Oh man, I'm good. I'm good to go. I'm good to go. But the greatest. I get sidetracked.
You were talking about 10 o'clock that night.
Yeah, about
You
8
couldn't get
o'clock
to the
that
phone.
night, after 3.5 months in the hospital, and I had been through hell. The phone rings. It's behind me. Holy crap! I can't get it. Can't get it. I said, who in the hell is calling me? This lady. Don't they know I've hooked up all this crap? So I finally get it, and it's a nurse. I mean, why didn't she walk down? She said,
Oh, Lord.
She said, Mr. Ballard? I said, yes. We got you a donor. I said, no. You're wrong. That happened this morning. I'm drugged out. I said, no. That happened this morning. That's not now. No, sir. This is a different donor. No. Y'all are wrong. That was this morning. Nobody gets 2 donors in one day. Nobody. She said, listen to me. We got you a donor. It's in the panhandle of Texas.
Wow.
Our jet's leaving now.
Amen.
It's going to take him 2 hours to get there. We're 99.9% sure it's a good heart.
Yeah.
Because they never tell you that because they don't want to disappoint when it gets there. he said he's leaving now. He said, we're going to go ahead and get you prepped and get you ready. You see the thumbs up?
Mm-hmm.
That's me going into surgery. We're going to get you prepped and get you ready to go. When the jet lands, you'll be ready to go. He said, are you ready? I said, go for it. So they get me up there. They take me down there. They cut me open. They take my old heart out. And I told them, kick it like a damn football. Kick it. They took my heart out. I laid there 2.5 hours, no heart, hooked to life support. The jet lands, they put it in. They said it started with one shock. The next day I was walking. The second day I was riding a bicycle.
Amen.
Even after St. Luke's told me no.
That's right. Wow.
So God opened more doors than you can ever imagine. And if y'all look up colors and y'all find some information, call me, tell Carrie, because I'm digging in my Bible right now. But I am so blessed.
You need to tell him about the date. He gave you a date.
Yes.
God gave you a date, and it happened on the date.
Oh, the 9/18.
And
Yeah,
then it happened
9/18.
and it happened on the 18th.
Yeah. Everything just it's just unbelievable how it happened. I mean, it's a gift from God. Now, right before this all happened, I sold that farm and I bought another farm. I wasn't happy. I didn't feel good, so I would buy stuff, and then I'd sell it. But I was so, after God visited me, I was so filled. I still am. I'm just, it's unbelievable. Wife was asleep. I'm swole. I didn't feel good. I was out in the front yard naked, running around and dancing.
Oh, Lord.
You know the song, the new song come out, Will You Dance? Would you dance? Oh, hell yeah. Get it on. I don't dance. I'm butt naked out in the yard. I just stripped down and said, hey, God want me? Here I am. Come get me. I'm ready. Devil, you ain't got nothing. I was laying in the bed after, like I say, 3.5 months in the bed. It was bad. The devil would come get on you. After God visited, the devil come get on me. And he'd say, what are you doing here? You ain't going to get no heart. Pull this crap out and go home. At least die like a man. Die at the house. You ain't going to stand here and do this stuff.
That's the enemy.
What are you doing? I'd say, hey, who do you think you are? You ain't fighting Rodney. You're fighting Rodney and God. Get your butt out of here. I don't want to hear this crap. Leave.
Amen.
Amen.
Anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to come here tonight because, God told me the last words out of his mouth. He said, and you know how Moses kind of told God he didn't want to go to Egypt and free the slaves and all this, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when you talk to God, you're going to talk to him just like I'm talking to you. It's just that somebody said, well, how did you feel? It took me probably, I'm going to jump around again. It probably took me a month or so to finally figure out how I felt. I said, it's a feeling that you'll never feel. And then I thought, you know, if you could imagine being a little baby and you've got your arms wrapped around your mama and got your legs wrapped around her, that's what I felt like. It was, you can't describe it.
You can't.
You just can't describe it. But anyway.
What's the last thing he told you?
Yeah, the last thing he told me was, and that's why I'm here. He said, tell him what happened here. I went, oh, wait a minute. I said, Lord, you know I don't like talking from people. I mean, I'm a rancher, a cow guy. I'm not no politician. And I said, of course, he didn't say a word. He just sat there and looked at me. And I said, okay, if there's 2 or 3 people, you know, and want me to say, yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. He looked at me again. He said, tell him what happened here. I said, okay. So that's why I'm here tonight. That's the only reason I'm here tonight. And hopefully one of y'all knows somebody that needs, you know, organ transplant, whatever. Don't go to Conroe. Don't go to the Woodlands. You go downtown Methodist. Maybe you save somebody's life. And if you hadn't signed a donor card, please do it, because here's why. you know, like that young man right here, that young boy right there.
Your picture. The big one.
What?
The big picture.
In the frame.
The horse.
Frame, okay.
Go there. You have a
Yeah,
reason for that.
well, that's another story. I hate to say this, but I'll probably have to come back.
No, you don't. We got time.
We got all night.
How can I start this off? This is my mother's daddy. That's Grandpa. I know all you grandsons out there and grown men probably had a grandpa like this, like I did. We were hunting one night in Port Lavaca, and he had a massive heart attack and died in my lap.
And you were how old?
About 12. And it ruined me.
Ruined you towards who?
I hated God. I'd stand cussing, shoot the finger, climb up on the tallest tire, and, you know, that was bad. I was an atheist, 100%, because of this. At that early age, I couldn't handle it. I wasn't going to tell this story tonight, but Carrie's pushing it on it. I hated the Lord. I thought it was a joke. Everything's a joke. I said, if there's a God, he wouldn't have took my grandpa, especially when it died and fell in my lap, right? That's the way a 12-year-old boy thinks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, for probably 20-something years, I was an atheist, 100%. But there's another part of this story that there was an angel come and sing me pretty often. Now, this is a long time ago, guys. This is 30, 40 years ago, I guess. And finally, after years and years and years, I mean, I went to a lot of, in fact, I walked into the Catholic Church downtown Conroe when I was probably, I don't know, 24, 25, and walked in there and the preacher was in there, and I said, now, what do I call you? I had a hard hat on. I said, what do I call you? I call you father or priest or what? He said, you call me anything you want. I said, okay. He said, how can I help you? I said, I've got a problem. He said, okay. I said, I'm going friggin' nuts. He said, what are you talking about? He said, I've got a spirit that keeps coming to seeing me at night. And come to find out, half of Conroe knew about it. They probably thought I was crazy. But finally one night, there was a spirit come to him, and he had a little girl with him. And the little girl was dressed in an Easter dress. It said ruffles here, and ruffles here. Roxy knows the story. And I went over to Mama's that morning, drank coffee with them on Saturday or Sunday. And she said, what's wrong? And this is 40 years ago. And I said, I got a problem. She said, what? I said, I think I'm going nuts. She said, what's happening? I said, well, I've got this spirit that's been following me, or ghost, whatever you want to call him. I said, he brought a little girl to me last night. Mom said, what'd she look like? I said, well, you couldn't see her. I see a white dress. It's ruffles around here, like some kind of Victorian dress. And she said, hang on a minute. She goes to the cedar chest, pulls out a picture, comes to the table, and she says, is this her? He could be shaking. I said, yeah. She said, your grandpa, his niece, they was at a family reunion, and she drowned. So he came back. God let him come back and let me know that there was a heaven, that he wasn't dead, he's still alive.
Come on.
And I've got the picture of the little girl home today. And that's the reason I think when I asked the question, why? I think God put a little too much on the 12-year-old shoulder. I couldn't handle it, or on this 12-year-old shoulder, and he kind of made up for it a little bit, is what I think.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he was a rough old rascal. So anyway,
So
thank y'all.
if they want to sign up as a donor, how can they do that?
You can sign your driver's license. You can tell your family member. In fact, Methodists, they, now again, here's God working. She said, Rodney, she said, have you ever thought about going here and meeting these transplant people and talking to them? Because they need your help. It's tough. You know, I'm about to go nuts waiting on to write the letter and find out who my donor is. Is it a girl? Is it a boy? Will their parents see me? What race? I said, I don't care if you're rainbow. It makes me no difference. I'm alive. I'm beating. I don't care if it's a girl or what.
Can you tell me what music do you like now
Oh,
since you got the heart?
Well, the lady, where's she
Kate.
at?
Kate?
Yeah, she asked me a while ago. She said, have you noticed anything different? And I said, yes. And I said, well, I've been told that your DNA bleeds over. I said, well, it's funny you said something. I said, the surgeons, probably 4, 5, 6 weeks after the surgery, you're going up there for a visit. In fact, we lived downtown Houston for about a month and a half, 2 months, me and Brenda. They asked me, said, you notice anything different? I said, a lot of people believe that the spirit is also in the heart, and they start doing things they never did do. They start eating stuff they didn't like. And I said, here's Conway Twitty, Merle Haggard, that's me, okay? I said, yes I have. They said, what? I said, hard rock. AC/DC. I'm friggin' bouncing. I mean, you know how they do this? I'm dancing, bouncing, and I got horses and cows back, and what is going on? He must got some of that good stuff, But yeah, I eat lemons and oranges. I eat the whole thing, right and all. Just sit there and Brenda, what are you doing? I said, I crave it. I'll eat 3 or 4 lemons a day. Luckily, they're good for you.
Yes, they
I
are.
sit there and just eat them.
They are good for you.
But hey, it's a blessing.
Amen.
It's a blessing. The Lord bless me. Everywhere I go, people say, good morning. I said, hold it. Do you know what you just said? Good morning? I said, you don't know what a good morning is. Let me show you my zipper. That's wow, unreal. I said, yeah, it is a great morning. I said, do you know what a blessing it is to push a shopping cart around Kroger's? I couldn't do that. I couldn't take trash out. I mean, I go to Kroger's now and don't even buy anything, just push the cart. I mean, I can walk. I took my grandkids last week, and I'm moving. They're eight and 9, and he said, Papa, are you running? No, come on, buddy. Let's get it going. Get this heart going, So anyway, thank y'all a million.
Thank you.
Thank
3
y'all.
months after he was putting trim in
Yeah.
in Carmen and I's condo and putting wood on the fireplace, going and a blowing.
Oh yeah. The wife woke up one night. We had one of those electrical outlets like this, and I had the couch. It was about 2 in the morning. I had the couch flipped over, and I got my wire. I got my voltmeter. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I can't sleep." I said, "I got the 25-year-old heart. I can't stop." Anyhow, it's good. It's good.
Praise God.
Yeah, it's.